the same way, in order to see the results that you are really looking to see. And I'll tell you, before we get started, as an example, is, sometimes I will sit here and I will have this vision of myself where I see her getting all of these things done. I see her, you know, running around, like running her errands, managing her time, yada, yada, yada. And I am realizing, oh, girl, my hair, I just got it freshed up today. Thank you. We love it. And I'm realizing, I'm like, I can be her, but it's going to take some things, some very uncomfortable changes, some discipline, and some practice. And I'm not talking about the practice where, oh, 3 days have gone by and I like showed it some work and then I start to veer off. And now, before you know it, I'm back to square one. This has to be something that we practice if we really want to reap the benefit from it. So, without further ado, Kelly's got something really, really good for us. I don't know if you guys have a pen and paper on you, but it would not be a bad idea. But Kelly, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hello. All right.
Wait, wait,
So,
wait, wait, wait. Sorry, Kelly. I don't see one person's camera on. And it's like, are we present tonight? Like, are we present? Are we here? Are we showing up, ready to learn? Yes, we are in bed, sister. I love it. Monica's cooking. That's okay. Like, y'all, this is our team calls. We are all here together. I don't know, what you're doing, but let's really be present tonight. Okay, Kelly, go ahead, girlfriend.
okay. So, one big thing when it comes to your time management that you really want to focus on is planning. Like, I think it's key. If you don't plan, like, how are you going to know what you're doing every day? Everybody's time's different. Obviously, like my schedule is more flexible, and for me, I feel like sometimes that's easier for me to get off track because I got all this time, right? And then for other people, they're busy, they're working, they're moms, and then it seems like you don't have the time, but we still all find time to do, the scrolling, the this and that. And so that's why it really comes in handy when you plan. So getting a planner, getting a calendar, having a whiteboard, physically writing out your plans is a big thing. So I know I live by my planner and my calendar. Like I have like one of those ones that you put on your desk and write out and everything. But I know a lot of times people just get their planner and they don't actually use it. Like drop a one in the chat if that's you. If you've gotten the planner and you've got all hyped about it, even got the cool pins, but then you didn't do shit with it. So let's bust that guy out. Let's dust it off, get those cool gel pens going, and start planning. One thing that I think is really cool to do is theming your days out. So, like business focused wise, and obviously you could throw in other stuff if you feel like you needed to, but if you really wanted to focus on business, like planning, theming your days, like planning, like Monday's planning and focusing that on planning stuff like your content. Batching your content is a big thing too. So every time you go to make content, you don't have to sit there and think of something and record and have it. Go ahead and like the week ahead on your planning or your creating day, create the content, plan the content, and then you'll have it ready for the week. And that you can do that on, I think you can do that on your post now too. You can save them and have it like set on a schedule. I haven't done that, but I heard that you could do that on Instagram now. And then something that's also really going to help you out that I just started doing recently, because I'm like a big to-do list person, like all the time, like multiple list every day, or like late at night when I'm thinking of stuff, because I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to forget that. But I started planning out my next day at the end of my day. So like taking like 10-15 minutes and writing down, like brain dumping, kind of like everything you want to do tomorrow, even like the smallest things like sweep or like whatever it is. And then like you see everything you need to do. And like I actually like crossing everything off too. It's like the gratification. But also it's like it makes you feel like you're holding yourself more accountable, and you have that note right there. And it feels good to like let it go at the end of the day instead of like having it on your mind and you're like all the things and you forget to like just write it down, and then tomorrow you'll have that list, and then you can decide like what can go for the next day too. Like, oh, I didn't get yada yada done, obviously not the important things, but like if you have small things, then you can add it to the next list and you never feel like you're missing out on something. Um, which kind of goes into the next thing, which is time blocking and prioritizing. So really setting up like a part time for what you want to do, and like prioritizing what's most important for you instead of sitting around and doing all the little things, especially when it comes to this business, because you could get caught up in the graphics, the fonts, the store, everything. But it's really not that important if you're not doing all the other things. So you have to make sure that you're prioritizing, actually talking to people, things that actually, get your business going. And when you're doing that, you're setting a part time for that, then you have like 5 minutes you can mess around with the other stuff. But that way, like your attention is 100% focused on the big things and what you're doing. Um, but like you could also be getting stuff done that you need to do, like on your way to the gym, listening to your personal development, or when you're at home, you could plug into a call, or when you have 10 minutes, break at work, you could like post something. But when you actually have your time set apart for when you're working, try to make sure you're dedicating what you're actually doing. Like if you set a goal that you want to talk to 5 new people, make sure you're doing that. Say, I'm setting apart 30 minutes and I'm reaching out to 5 people in that 30 minutes. Boom, you got it done. And now you can, get going with your other stuff. And something that I find helpful is putting my phone on do not disturb. Because I know I get like distracted really easily, especially because like I'm always on my phone. I feel like doing stuff for work, but like it's not very beneficial because I get distracted or I want to check all the things. But like if I'm taking time away and I need to do something else besides my business, other things, I don't want to be distracted by that. It's okay to like put your phone away for an hour. It's all going to be there when you get back. Like, and everybody, has teams and people like downlines and uplines. Just tell them I'm going to be gone for 3 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if it's an emergency, there's a team there, but like, it's just communicating that. And I feel like for people who have like busier schedules, you could set timers when you're like at home and you're a mom and you have all the things going on. Set a 30-minute timer to get your work done. Like business, plugging in your business. Set a 30-minute timer later on to clean your house. Set a 20-minute timer to, take you time, like whatever you need to do. Because really like focusing is how you're going to make sure you're getting things done. And then the 1-3-5 rule is something that I just recently heard about, and it is taking one big task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small tasks. And that kind of like coincides with everything like time blocking and prioritizing. It's really just writing down your plans and prioritizing like what's most important to you. And also just realizing that in the times that you're not doing the huge like big tasks, you have like a few minutes to do the small things, and compounding all that together, it's really going to give you like the best management of your time and usage of your time, because everybody's time is so valuable. So really just going ahead and setting the tone. I feel like in the beginning of the month, I like to like really set out like my monthly goals, and like it's more widespread. And then each week I'll start off like a weekly goal and focus on that week. But like I said, just recently I started doing the next day thing, like still having like a weekly goal, like an idea, but like not being like so overwhelmed with the a million tasks you have for that week. Just letting it go at the end of the day and like seeing like what you can carry on to the next day. So, sorry.
Yeah, Kels, I'm obsessed with everything because like I said at the beginning, this is stuff you have to practice. And she kicked it off like speaking directly to me, like totally calling me out on my shit with the planner and the cute little sparkly pens that I think I'm gonna color code in my new planner that I got. Guilty, go to freaking TJ Maxx or Marshalls or whatever, and you find the cutest planners, right? With cute little sayings on them. But you have to watch what you're telling yourself too, is something that I noticed. Like when I fall off on things like that, I tell myself, oh, I'm just not that kind of person to write things down. Well, you need to be that kind of person. That's the point of this. It really does matter what you believe about yourself. And to get organized like this and to have those systems, it has to have it really starts with reframing your mindset and just giving it a real chance at some of this stuff. especially when we're business owners and we're doing this business on top of everything else that we have going on. Because I'll tell you, these SEDs, they have a lot going on, but they're doing it and they all started where we're at. They didn't just sign up with Monate and just become an SED. So and some of them, and we hear on leadership calls still that they still have to implement this stuff. You ask any SCD, like, what's your system? They tell you, they write stuff down on their whiteboard. They're still doing their sticky notes. They have everything planned out of how they're going to execute their day and stuff. So getting into a rhythm with this, and I'm going to talk about next just kind of how to systemize your business a little bit. And then we have a little activity that we'll finish off with. But yeah, I just love everything that Kelly touched on. It all just makes so much sense to really sit down, have a moment with yourself, and shoot, that's going to have to be a time block for you to time block. Okay, take some time out for you to delegate your time to areas of your life. And I'm so happy that she mentioned self care because we cannot neglect that. And sometimes we need that reminder or that timer for like us to just not do anything and just be a human like for just a second. Okay. And that is okay to do because everything's going to be here when you get back. All right. So systemizing your business, I have three letters that we're going to go into. VTO. Okay, so V is going to be for your vision. In order for your business to work, and I've said this time and time, is you got to have a vision. Like, what are you even working towards? Like, do you even know what you want Monday to be the vessel for you? Do you even know like where you want to go with this business or what you're going to do? And your vision will change. My vision is so much bigger now than it was when I first started with this business. But the point is you have to have that vision, and sometimes you have to like have a annual or biannual check in with yourself and check in with that vision and write out your why again and really get into the trenches with that. Because when you have that big of a vision, that big of a why, and that big of a purpose, all of this meticulous thing, all of these meticulous things, like the planning and the organizing, the things that we kind of don't want to do. I'm speaking to myself, if not anyone else right now, because for me, organizing and cleaning and like doing all of that background work, I don't want to do that. I want to show up and I want to make money. I want to be making that's all I want to do. But that will only last so long because I am at a point in my business now where I realize the vision that I have and to be able to see exactly where I'm going, I have to get really uncomfortable and I have to step back and really prioritize some of these things. So, really start out with your vision. Your dreams are real and they're there for a very important reason. They're not just there to like pass through your mind and then never be, thought of again. That is a vision for a reason. So really, really lean into that. The T stands for time. So when are your work blocks? So we're talking about time blocking, right? So when are your actual working blocks? And we say that these are the pockets of your day, right? Here's where we get confused. At least this is kind of where I got confused. I was putting other things into the pockets of my day, and I was thinking my business was the all in all priority, which my business is a priority, but I had it totally backwards and it was messing with everything that I needed to get done in my life, just like fundamental things with Nevea, with my family, with my house, because my small pockets of my day I was trying to put really big things in, and that just is totally overwhelming. So, something that you can take from that is some tips on how to really like look at where the pockets of your day are is when you are planning out and you're writing in that beautiful freaking calendar, you need to put first events and appointments in your calendar. What appointments do you know that you have coming up? What big events do you know you need to attend? Write those down in your calendar. And then next is going to be fundamental needs. Or maybe it's like gym for me. That's a need for me. I need to go to the gym daily or at least every other day, whatever it looks like for me, that is a need. So for me, I need to block time out for me to be at the gym. That's like a non-negotiable. And then establish your work blocks with what is left. And I know that's like daunting because it's like, I don't really have that much time left. That's okay because we know how much can actually be done in this business if you delegate accordingly. So if you have the 20-minute gap in between, things, or you're waiting in the car line for your kids, or you're at you have an oil change, but you're in the waiting room, like these are your working blocks. But knowing that ahead of time, you then know what you need to plan in these little blocks that you have left. If it's only 20 minutes, there's plenty of, I could get a post up in 20 minutes. I can at least get 2 reach outs in 20 minutes, something of that nature. So blocking out your time and then delegating what you're going to be doing in those little pockets of your time. Know what you are saying yes and no to. You don't know if nothing is in your calendar. And I think this is a big thing because I'll say yes to anything. I'll say yes to anything. And then it actually comes up the day and the time. And I'm like, why did I say yes to that? Knowing I cannot get there. Like it sounded like a good idea. If I don't have anything in my calendar that I really need to have in my calendar, I'm saying yes to things that I really probably should be saying no to. And then remember that things that you say yes to, think of the thing that is you saying no to, and vice versa. If you're saying no to something, odds are it's probably because you're saying yes to something more important. And that's just kind of where, like Kelly was saying, that's where your priorities come into play. But if you're not planned out and you don't know this stuff ahead of time, you're going to be all over the place making commitments that you wish you didn't make because you were just trying to probably make someone happy, or you felt good in the moment, or whatever. Learn to say no. We're all like, be a yes person because we definitely want people to say yes to this business. But you got to be a no person sometimes. And like that's the new thing. Like I'm a no gal, okay? Because we got priorities over here. Um okay, and then the O stands for organization. Cringe, because I am the most unorganized person. And it shows. It is showing now in my business. I was listening to a recording from Chelsea Coleman, and she was asked, what is one thing, that's one of our SEDs and MDCs, by the way, what is one thing that you wish you would have done sooner in your business? And she said, I wish I would have got organized. Everything happens for a reason. Timing is different for everyone, but being organized will take you so far in your business, in your life. You're going to be able to get so much done more efficiently. You can work less, yet produce more. We can't be preaching this business talking about, oh, time freedom and all these things if we feel like we are a slave to this business. I got out of corporate America because I didn't want to feel like that. So I definitely don't want to feel like that in this business, but I do want to feel like I'm getting work done and I'm being very efficient with my time, and that's going to come from organizing and having systems in play. So there's 3 main areas that you want to get organized in. One being your house, and honestly, this is arguably probably the most important of the 3, because it kind of all starts in your environment. So being organized in your house, where are things? It's so crazy because I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. My house sometimes will be very cluttered, but I'm so used to clutter and chaos that you ask me where something is, I know exactly where it is on the floor. I'll go, oh, that I remember that being in my closet floor on the right next to Freddie's shoes. I never picked it up, but I now know where it is because I see it all the time and I never pick it up. So in my sense, I'm an organized, chaotic mess. But I'm tired of the mess part. Like I want more organization because I know that's going to reflect in my life and in my business. So you got to get the clutter out. The clutter has to go. I really believe that, you know, whatever your environment does look like and how you feel in your environment that's going to be exactly what it looks like and feels in your head. And if it doesn't now, it will the longer and longer you let this clutter build up. So it's not what most people want to do. Like I was saying, like, I'm like, I don't want to pick up my room. I don't want to declutter my dresser. Like, I know where every little product is and, whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to just get into the money part of this. You guys have to take a step back and realize to advance in your business and to grow in your business and to be that SED. Now, look, I'm a mom and I know some of y'all are moms too. So I'm not sitting here saying that our house has to be spick and span because I'd be lying to you and, giving y'all false hopes. But if there's not a place for it, there's no place for it in your house. Okay. Let it go. You're going to feel so good. It's like a spring cleaning. So yes, it has to be priority. Next thing that you want to organize is your work tasks. We got to start automating things in our business. Okay. If we're still going in and we're typing up these blurbs to every single potential and we don't have this blurb saved by now, what are you doing wasting so much time typing out this blurb over and over again? Save it. Let this be easy for you. Oh, she does this. I have a blurb for that. Send. Okay. We're in our notes and we're in our what's it called? The app, the boards. Okay. If you guys haven't downloaded the app boards yet, go download that tonight. And we'll send you the link to get you into the boards that we're building right now. So automate your business. You've got to work harder, not smarter. We're trying to save time here. If we're really working this business in the pockets of our day, and we're trying to maximize those pockets of our day, we can't spend 5 minutes trying to think of what to say when we already have said this like 20 times to someone. Work smarter, not harder. Next area you need to organize is your computer, your phone. Stop searching for files, stop searching for documents, stop searching for pictures. This should all be in a delegated spot in a folder of your phone. This part kind of seems a little bit fun for me. Maybe it's because I'm on my phone all the time and this is a good, if you guys find yourself endlessly scrolling on your phone, sometimes we get on TikTok or whatever and we're kind of getting a little crazy and then you're like, oh shoot, what am I doing? Use that time to get some organizing done. Put some things into a file in your phone or if you're on your laptop mostly, like have things easily accessible to you. Before and after pics, especially. If you're on Instagram and you're sharing, reels of before and afters, or you're saving them, I should say, save them to an actual file. You can do that. You guys probably already know you can do that, but if you didn't know you can do that, you can. So like if you want to go to a really good wow, that hair transformation was so freaking good, I want to save it to post for later. Well, don't just save it. Save it and title it hair transformation. So when you go and make a hair transformation post about your products and your hair, then you can go post reels that you've been saving. It's just so much easier when you have things just right at your fingertips. Okay, so this part, are y'all getting like a little something, something out of this? Is this a little good? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so this is a little activity that we can do together, but more so like if you can sit down and like write this stuff out, then great, or at least the questions, and maybe this could be something you sit with tonight and really try to work on. But there's going to be three things, kind of like some three tips on how we can kind of like declutter and kind of like go back to what Kelly was saying, like really time block and prioritize these things. But how do we do that? Like it kind of sounds easy, like, oh, I get it. I need to be more responsible with my time. I need to be more disciplined in my free time. But like we have to have some time actually reflecting and seeing what it is that we're even currently doing and like why it's not working. So I did hear this though on a podcast I was listening to. So when people say, "Oh, I don't have time to fill in the blank," that they filled in is usually what they want time to do. I say that all the time. Sometimes it's even the gym. Like, oh, I don't have time for the gym. Why don't I have time for the gym? What's taking up my time? Where am I using that time, and why am I not getting X out of it or whatever? So this is kind of to emphasize on that. Okay. So number one, we need to take inventory. We need to take inventory. We need to audit our schedule. Okay. We need to audit our schedule. I was talking with my tax lady, and I don't make enough in the business yet to be like paying myself, but she was kind of like going over this a little bit with me. And it really made me think like, wow, okay, so with how much I'm making versus how much I'm actually spending my whole days working, when you break it down to see how much you're making in an hour, y'all, we need to delegate our time better. We need to really maximize on these little 20 minutes and stop spreading ourselves so wide in our day to do one task, right? So take inventory, audit your schedule. So think about the last 1 to 3 months. I say 3 months max because I don't want you guys to go down like this spiral of your past and like irrelevant stuff that is so far past you. So maybe 1 to 3 months behind, and think about what you've been doing, what your days have been looking like. Mine, I could probably say have been looking the same as like 3 months ago because I've been in this kind of like routine. So this is kind of for us to realize, okay, if I'm still doing that, is it working for me? Is it producing? So what's working? I want you to ask yourself these questions. So first, write down what you've actually been doing. Maybe it's the gym, your business, hanging out with friends, whatever. What's working for you? Okay, so ask yourself that. What's working for you? What's not working for you? What's causing you stress? Ironically, what's causing me stress are all the things that I'm avoiding. What is taking too much of your time? Okay, everyone have those questions. So, last month or two, what have you been doing? And then sit down what's working and what's not working, what's causing you stress, and what's just taking up too much of your time. Now look forward 1 to 3 months. Okay. Now you could take this a little step further and you could even look like a year from now. Okay. Because we want to imagine ourselves in a year from now. But 1 to 3 months forward, what do you need to make time for? Maybe you're not making the time for it now, but what do you know that you need to make time for? And then what are you really hoping to accomplish? And don't sell yourselves short on this part, you guys, because when I was doing this before this call and just kind of looking into this, I let my mind wander. Like I really did. I was like, gosh, I really want to accomplish this. But what do we do? Like we look at our habits and kind of where we're at right now, and we might put a title on it like, oh, that's impossible. Like, no, take the emotion out of it and like disconnect from the emotion for a second. What are you hoping to get done in 1 to 3 months? Okay. What have you been putting off for like way too long? What have you been putting off? And then what is in your heart for the next 3 months? Like, what are you dreaming of? What are you hoping for? Think big again on this one. This can be goals in your business, this can be goals with your family, anything. Like, really think about what 3 months can really look like for you. Shoot, what 6 months can look like for you. Actually, let's keep it to 3 months because I heard Joe Aragoyan say this before. Like, if you tell yourself in 6 months, I'm going to accomplish this, you will accomplish that in 6 months or not. So, if you're really wanting to accomplish that, shoot, I'll accomplish that same thing, but I'm going to give myself 3 months to do it. So, let's stick to 3 months and be sustainable, but do not hold back on this. Okay. And then the third step to all of this is we got to make the changes. Okay. So a lot of what you're seeing on the paper, like when you guys end up writing this down, which I really hope you do, it might look intimidating. I've already done this because I wanted to get into it, but some of the stuff that I wrote down, it really looked intimidating because it was a version of myself that embodied habits that I don't have right now. And therefore, I really have to make these changes if I'm going to see her in 3 months. Okay? In the different areas that I was writing down. So, don't let it be intimidating. Don't let it come off impossible like I said a little bit earlier. You cannot continue to feel like you have no control of your life. Okay? I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. Okay, but we got kids. Then the kids might have sports. The kids might have daycare. They might have appointments. You might have appointments. You might feel like you need to be at places X, Y, and Z and between jobs and, all of the things. But you have to remember that you have control. And this comes back to prioritizing our time and our time blocking. You are in control of your time no matter how busy you are. Okay, busy is good. You just got to have that healthy relationship with being busy. Okay. And then again, what are you avoiding? Routines. Is it routines with your kids at night? Is it routines with dinner? I don't know. I see Carol on here. I was telling her about my nightly routine with my daughter and Freddie, and her jaw was like on the floor. Like it's a hot mess, you guys. Okay. I'm telling you, I've been a wing it kind of person my whole life. It's time to like put a stop to that. So, what are you really avoiding right now? Oh, yes, on the floor. Kara was like, "What the how do you even function?" I'm like, "I'm not. I don't know. I'm on autopilot." And that's not a way to live, you guys. It really isn't. You gotta remember that you can be in control. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up here, but I really appreciate all of you guys hanging around. Y'all, like, there's some serious magic that can happen by taking away these tangibles and, getting into the calendar and, writing down and all of the things. So I promise you, this is going to be good for all of us. But here's some tips that I have. Make simple swaps. Okay. So I kind of briefly said this earlier. Take the emotion out of the equation. And I'll give you an example. You might have to swap Netflix out to go make a post to post tomorrow. Write out the caption, make the reel, okay, or plug into business. Maybe that's your time that you can scroll on your phone. You're scrolling on your phone anyway. So go find new connections, okay? You might have to swap some things out for some other things. Now, what I mean by taking the emotion out of it, that's just one example. Oh, watching Netflix, like, that's, like, me and Freddie's time, like, to sit on the couch and, like, he gets off work late and, that's when we just spend time together and eat ice cream and stuff. Well, tough titty said the kitty when the milk went dry. Because you know what? I gotta get some shit done, and that's just what it is, okay? Uh, replace fun. Maddie, you liked that? You liked that? I know, I seen it. That's something my dad always said to me, was what I just said when I couldn't get my way. So there it is. So replace fun with fun. So what do I mean by that? Taking something off of your calendar. So kind of with what I was saying, something that you might be saying yes to that you actually can't take on, but what you actually should be taking on can be fun. Okay. You know what? I might not be able to go out to the club that night with y'all because I mean that might sound like fun, but that also sounds like a headache the next morning. That also sounds like I'm going to be behind in my morning schedule. That also sounds like X, Y, and Z. So some fun things might come with some consequences. Um, but you can make other fun things. Like for me, like, oh wow, yeah, y'all go to the club. Kelly, I'll be missing the club. So this just like this little thought just popped in. But you know what? I'm gonna hang out at night. I'm gonna have a girls' night. Maybe I'm gonna invite some business girls over, and I'm gonna have some glasses of wine ready. And let's like let's like have a content night or let's do a team bonding night. Like that could be fun. And this is just an example, you guys. It made a lot of sense on the podcast I was listening to. But anyway, so replace some fun with fun. Again, it really comes down to just kind of like that discipline factor. Now, this doesn't mean be a Hitler, strict Hitler with your life. Go out and like have some fun. But remember, if you're going out and having this fun to put off what you actually need to be doing, remember what you need to be doing can be fun as well. You got to look at it as fun. I was just talking about this on my stories. If you're like talking about your goals, like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm so tired. But like, yet on the other side of your brain is like, oh, I want this body. I want to blah, 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 blah. You're never going to get there if you're associating the work with like all this negativity. Okay. Make it fun. Period. Okay. Use powerful language when you're talking about your goals. Last tip, one time block at a time. We're putting all of this into action. We're putting all of Kelly's tangibles with the routines and the time blocking, the prioritizing, everything that I just said above. Take it one block at a time. This is not going to be an overnight thing, but it is going to be a commitment. Okay, it's going to take a commitment out of you to really prioritize this portion of your life and your business. So maybe you want to fixate on your morning routine first. Nail that. Get into routine with your morning routine. Maybe you want your nighttime routine. Kara's probably over there thinking that I should start with my nighttime routine, which I did a really good job today with dinner, bath time. Freddie got home and I said, put her to bed because we already did everything else. So one nightly or one block at a time. Okay. Build yourself up some confidence. Don't set yourself up for failure with unsustainable and unrealistic expectations of yourself. Have high standards for this, you guys, because you're stepping into a new era. You're stepping into SED habits and SED routines. I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit I'll never be an SED with what I have going on in my life right now. Okay. That's just me being real with myself. I want to be an SED. Okay, I do. But it's not going to happen with the clutter that I have going on in here, the lack of systems, the lack of organization, and the lack of routines. It's just not going to happen. It's very unsustainable. I'm burning out. And I want to make a change. I really am at that point where I see it and I need it. And we have to be at that point in order to really do something about it. You know, we have to be so fed up with our own BS. You know, I'll be the first to say it. So, y'all, wow, 45 minutes of pure straight goodness. And I'm fired up. I'm so excited. I hope you guys, Kelly, do you have anything else that you wanted to touch on before we close out?
Not really. No, I think we pretty much touched everything. Like, can't.
Okay.
You better say it, Kelly.
Go ahead, girl. I know you
I
had
know you got it.
feeling when I said the club.
What? Not the club.
I know you had some kind of feeling when I said stop going to the club. Kelly's like, damn.
Yeah,
I'm at
no.
that club.
That's funny. But really, like everything that we said, honestly, like planning, I would say is like, in my opinion, the number one thing is like planning, like, and writing it
Yeah.
down, like super big too, like for me at least. Brain dumping
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, Kelly and I, when we were planning for this call, we were talking about it, and she said just that, is like writing it down, start planning. You know, I master planning and having great ideas and leaving them in my head. You know how much crap I got going on in my head? It is so important to take that and put it down on paper. Create some space up here for other things. Empty that out, put it on paper. But if you're going to put it on paper, you got to get that paper back out. Okay. You can't just stuff it under your bed or put it on your cluttered desk or in a drawer where you're never going to find it again. Like, make sure you have that discipline of writing in more than one page of that new awesome book that you just got. Okay. But yeah, I really like that because that's something that I struggle with. I will think of an awesome thing or I'll have this idea plan and then I don't write it down. And then what happens? I'll forget. And I know I'm not the only one.
Me too.
Straight up. Well, I hope you guys got so much out of this tonight. I'm ready to put it all into action. And you guys, thank you so much for hopping on and just one step closer to your dream life, your dream place in your career and all that jazz. I love you guys.
All that dad rock.